why Sheikh Hamdan keeps returning to the same place. Every year, he goes back every year, the same place, the same time of year, roughly, with the same quality of deliberateness that distinguishes a chosen return from an obligatory one. It is not on the official schedule in any way that the public record acknowledges. It is not a state visit or a diplomatic trip or one of the formal engagements that fill the calendar of a man in his position with the kind of structured, purposeful travel that always has an explanation attached to it. It is a personal return, private, made with the specific intention of a person who needs to go back to a place for reasons that have nothing to do with official business and everything to do with something the place holds for him that nowhere else holds in quite the same way. The people who know him well enough to know about it have described the return as something close to a ritual, not religious, not ceremonial in any formal sense, but with the quality that rituals have, the deliberateness, the regularity, the sense of a person doing something that is necessary for their inner life in a way that defies easy explanation to anyone who has not felt the specific pull of a place that holds the memory of something important. Places hold things that people cannot always hold for themselves. That is the truth that explains why certain people return to certain places with a regularity that surprises those around them. The mind can process a loss and arrive at something like acceptance. The heart can move through grief and come out on the other side of it into something that functions as daily life. But the body, the specific physical self that moved through a place during the important moments, does not process loss the same way. It holds the geography of what happened, the particular coordinates of the significant things. And going back to those coordinates is, for certain people, the only way to access the specific quality of what was there in a way that cannot be reached through memory or poetry or any other form of reaching that does not involve the physical return to the actual place. For Hamdan, the place is connected to her, the woman who represented the chapter of his life that felt most fully chosen, the one he built the home for, the one he made the promise to, the one the father told him to leave. They had been there together, not once, multiple times. Enough times that the place accumulated the specific density of shared experience that makes a location meaningful in a way that is separate from whatever inherent qualities it possesses. The landscape itself might be beautiful or ordinary. The specific qualities of the place are less important than what happened in it, what was said there, what was felt there. The ordinary moments, the morning light, the sound of the place at a particular hour, the specific quality of being present in a shared space with a person who knew the real version of you and chose it anyway. That accumulated in the place over the visits and that remained there, accessible, even after the person they were shared with is gone. He goes back because she is gone and the place is not. That is the simplest version of why. The woman who held the most real chapter of his private life is no longer accessible to him in the way she was when the chapter was being lived. The children are at a distance. The home he built is occupied differently now from how he built it to be occupied. The promise has been broken and the chapter has been closed, and the official version of his life has moved on to whatever arrangement the palace has decided is the appropriate next configuration for the Crown Prince of Dubai. But the place, the specific geography of the thing that mattered, is still there, unchanged by the decisions that have rearranged everything else, holding, in whatever way places hold things, the version of his life that was most fully his. He does not go there to grieve, or not primarily to grieve. The return serves something more complex than grief. It serves the need to confirm that the thing was real, that the chapter existed, that the feelings were genuine and the choices were made, and the life that was briefly lived inside those coordinates was not simply a story he told himself, but something that actually happened in the world. When the official story does not acknowledge a chapter of your life, when the palace version of who you are has no record of the most real thing you have experienced, the danger is a slow erosion of the certainty that it happened at all. Going back to the place counters that erosion, stands in front of the official story and says, "This was real. I was here. It happened." Whatever the record says or does not say, it happened. His poetry from the periods immediately following the annual return carries a specific quality that the people who follow his work carefully have come to recognize as connected to the visit. A brief settling, a temporary cessation of the searching quality that his writing carries most of the time. As though the going back has given him access to something that allows him, for a short period, to be still rather than reaching, still not at peace. The poems are never peaceful in the uncomplicated sense, but still in the way that a person is still when they have confirmed something they needed to confirm and can, for now, stop the effort of confirming it through other means. He will go again this year, as he has gone every year, at roughly the same time, making the return with the specific deliberateness of a man who has decided that this particular ritual is one of the things his life is not going to be managed away from. Many things have been managed away from him. The woman, the children in their proximity, the home, the friend circle, the private chapters that became too visible and had to be contained. Each of those things was reachable by the institution that governs his life because each of them involved other people. Other people whose lives could be rearranged, whose visibility could be managed, whose presence could be made to recede when the official story required it. But the place cannot be managed in the same way. It is just land, just geography, just the coordinates of something real that happened and that the world is not going to be able to fully take back because it is written into the physical world rather than and into the lives of people who can be asked to disappear. He goes back every year to stand in a place that holds what the official story cannot, to confirm that the chapter was real, to do the thing that the grief requires without the grief having to announce itself as grief to anyone who is watching, to be, briefly and privately, and in the only way the geography of his life allows, close to the life he built and lost, and still returns to in the only form that has not been managed away from him. The place holds it, and he knows it holds it. And every year, with the specific faithfulness of a man who has lost many things, but has not yet lost the habit of going back to the things that cannot be taken, he returns. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Every week I bring you the real story of Sheikh Hamdan, the places he returns to, the rituals that survive the management, and the truth about a man who keeps going back, because going back is the only form of keeping that his life has left him.